So, the date today is
27th.
the April 27th, 2015. Good. And we're here for a workshop that Lynn is going to present, and I'll let her talk about that in a minute after our quick introductions. But before, okay, so before we begin, I just want to make sure that everybody knows we are taping this, and this is going to be put online on the Theory Bulletin Board. I want to make sure that that's okay with everybody. Is anybody?
Well, I think each of us can say, I'm Lynn Weber, and I say it's okay.
Okay, okay, great. All right. So, but I kind of think I'd like to have people just say their names separately, because the permission part of it I want to come out. So could everybody just say their names, and we'll take a video of you saying it so that we know who we are. All right?
Start with Mira. No, Lynn already did.
Oh, so I'm Mira Kim. What else?
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Oh, you can say just a sentence who you are.
I'm staff notator at the DNB.
I'm Paul Ocampo. I'm a Director of Education, DNB.
I'm Tina Kroll. I'm Director of Programs at DNB.
Charlotte?
I'm Charlotte Weil, and I'm the moderator for the Theory Bulletin Board.
And then Nate.
Hey, behind the camera.
No,
it's okay.
Well, you have to
May
say who
is
you
behind
are.
the camera, but
Yeah.
say
May
what
Chen Lu.
May Chen, right?
Yeah, Director of Library Service at the DNB.
Okay.
And Lynn?
Lynn Weber,
All right.
Executive Director.
Okay. Good.
Today I'm going to be talking about and leading a movement session related to a concept that's been used in motif notation that Charlotte has been the inventor of, the creator of this symbology for this concept. And I'm going to talk about how it can be applied in Lava notation. But as we start, I'm first going to let everyone experience the movement before we get into symbols. So ignore the hands, the body movement here. I'm just going to start with some basic, really simple steps. So here we are standing in place. We take a step forward in low level, up, up, down, up, up. So we're doing 2 triplets. And that's how we're going to start. So I'd like everybody to get up, do the 2 triplets.
Should we be here? Do you want us to go on that?
Well, right now, let's just do it here, if you have room.
We could go around the table.
Sure. Ready? I'll give you 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, we can also do this with different expressive dynamics. So we can do it, for example, if you think about being heavy, just giving into your weight, you can do the same movement. So let's do it feeling that you're being dragged down, feeling that you're just surrendering to weight. You're exhausted. So let's do it that way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do it again. This time, we're going to have lightness. Okay, we're all going to do the same triplets now with a feeling of lightness, airiness, rising. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Good. Good. Okay, now this time we're going to do it with directness. These are all efforts. Directness meaning focused, very directed. Every intent is 1, 2, 3. Good, good. Okay, we're going to try another effort.
Two groups? And so we're,
Oh,
in
we should-
terms
one
of the
group could
video,
start.
Yeah.
one group first
And
and
then
then the other
second.
follow? Okay, should,
So we can
do
do
you
it
think we
standard.
captured
Yeah,
what
the
we did?
second time is much better because the first time everybody go.
Okay, so
together.
should we repeat
No,
any
no,
of
no,
this?
it's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
good.
okay.
All right.
Good. This time, we're going to do it with quickness in the steps. Notice that it isn't being fast, but it's being quick, like a spark. You're going to go at the same tempo. There's a difference between the effort of quickness and the tempo at which you're going. So we're going to do the same tempo for the triplet, but we're going to put a spark in there and quickness. And it doesn't have to be throughout. Obviously, a spark has to be recreated. It isn't going to be, every single step is going to be frantically quick. You're going to have quickness, and you can put it in as you wish. You don't have to have it on the beginning of the step. It could be how you're coming out of the step, okay? So that gives you more flexibility there. Ready? We'll do two groups. We'll do, when we do two triplets, then the next group does two triplets. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Quick and strong.
I've seen, yeah, that's a little harder because you're trying to maintain a regular tempo, but you're also introducing a dynamic of, and I was doing it wrong.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So, the next effort we're going to get into is indirectness. Now, this is not being undirected. This is not about having no focus whatsoever. It's about having many focuses at the same time. Be aware of your entire surroundings as you're doing the triplets. Be multi-focused. Think about that corner, now over there. Now is somebody talking about me in the back of the room? I want to hear that too. You're going to have this awareness as you do the triplets. So come on back and let's do it again. And this is called indirectness. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good, good. Okay, we've done heaviness, but we haven't done strength. The difference between heaviness, which we had before, which is giving into the weight, is being strong about it. Think about being able to control your power. Think about it differently from just being heavy. It is not being heavy versus light. It's having an effort of strength underneath it all. Let's do our triplets again with strength. One, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Good, good.
To be strong, it's like the sustained strength.
So the one thing that we haven't done, which Charlotte was just alluding to, is sustained. So of the full efforts, and then we're going to get into different flows, but of the full effort, the effort qualities, we have not done sustainment. We've done directness, indirectness, we've done lightness, we've done strength, we've done quickness. Heavy's not a, it's a variation on the effort. We've done quickness. What we haven't done is sustainment, which can be done at any tempo, but it has to do with how you're luxuriating in time. You've probably seen some dancers who seem to just hold, they're in time with the music, but they seem to luxuriate. Take that movement and just make it feel like it's extending through time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want you to do the triplets with. It's a little, you know, it's again, like the quickness. The concept is not about tempo per se. It's about an attitude. It's about how you feel about the time. So a sustainment is luxuriating, even though it may be done at a rapid time frame. So let's go and try that. Ready? Three. Did you feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel how it's different?
Definitely.
Okay.
Did
Next.
it look different?
I think it did. But I saw it look back. Now we're going to talk about two other things, bound flow and free flow. And bound flow is really about agonist and antagonist muscle holding control, being in precise control of where your muscles are. If you think about how you have to carefully carry something, you have to be in control. That's bound flow. Free flow is allowing it to just go. If you stop something that's in free flow, it may take a while before it stops because you know, you're not controlling it. It's out of your control. So the next one, let's do the steps very precisely in bound flow so that we're controlling. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. The next one, let's do with free flow. Okay, now, as I said, you're going to allow freedom of the muscles. You give an impetus and you don't carefully control it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know, it's interesting also, as I watch you, you have efforts that go together naturally. So that sometimes free flow, you also want to do indirectness. Other people will do strength with directness. You know, it has to be, or bound flow with precision and directness.
Paul was doing it with heavy. He was being free and heavy.
Free and heavy, right. Because you're letting go of the weight, but in that heaviness, you know, so things go together. Let's talk about a couple other concepts here. One is, if we look at the symbols on the screen, you're going to miss the arm movement here. Let's look at the symbols here. Now this is taken from dance movement in ballroom dancing. So you're here. Let's do the arms. Yes.
Can you explain that
Facing
at all?
the
Sure.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
face this way. So you start with, where's your arm? Forward, middle, bend 1 degree in front of the body. You're going to then go outward with it rotating outward to here. Then you're going to go overhead, high, bent, then to here, middle, and back to front, okay? So the movement of the arm is this, and while that's happening, you're also having the body move. So you start here, your body's upright, you're going to, as you're moving your arm outward, you're rotating your torso to the right, you're also tipping it to the right. Then you're going to come back to normal as it comes up here. And actually I forgot to put in a tip here. So we're going to tip the body over here. And then we're going to have it return to normal. So let's all do this movement. So we start here. We go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Okay. In addition, and that's while you're doing the triplets. Shall we try it that way before we add this? This is the path sign, which takes you in a circle. Let's do it without the circling first. Let's go into the other room and do that. Okay? So we start here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, up. Good, good. Okay. Now while you're doing that, efforts can be added and other things as well. We already went through various efforts and flow. I want to talk about another concept, which is carving. When you carve, you can carve with your hands. Why don't you try carving out the space with your hands, your fingers. You can also do it with your body or your arm. Your whole body can get into it. So we're going to think in terms of as if you took a knife and you're going to carve it out and you can see plop, some of the air around you just drop in because you've sliced through it. Okay, we're going to carve this shape. Carve it out. Okay, let's try it from a movement standpoint. The same movement we just did, but we're going to think in terms of carving.
Sorry.
So we start here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And carve it into the space. Now this time I want you to lead it with your fingers. Lead with your fingertips. So the fingertips lead the motion. I want you to get a different feeling from this same movement. Okay? Let's do the same exact movement. But this time we're going to use our arm led by the fingertips. Think about the fingertips taking you there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Did you get a different feeling from that? It's different intent, exactly. And as we notate things, how do we express different intents? Let's do one more exercise here, and that is gathering and scattering. The idea of gathering all of the air here and scatter it away. So if you do a movement, let's just try gathering and scattering. Gathering, scattering. Okay, now you're going to add that to the movement. So you're going to scatter, you're going to gather it up. You're going to scatter it, you're going to gather it up. So that the same exact movement that we did before, we're going to do with a different intent. And the intent in this case is scatter, gather it up again. Scatter it, gather it up again. Now, I personally typically would, when I think of scattering, I also think of an initial impetus of quickness, but you don't have to do that. But that's a possibility to emphasize that gathering, that scattering and then gathering. So let's try that. Sorry, the movement may be a bit boring, but I'm trying to use the same exact. Okay.
It's great. It's very
Okay.
interesting.
I'm trying to make it simple so that you can really think about how it differs with the different things.
Definitely.
Okay, so we start with our arm up. We're going to do the same triplet, but with scattering then gathering. Ready? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gather together. Okay. So when we've done each of these, in various notation projects, we will be confronted by situations where some of these concepts are very important to the dance. And we want to write them. So let's go in the other room and sit down and talk about writing. Right now, we haven't used this. This is simply a cat sign indicating that it takes a full circle. And if you'll notice, there are certain ballroom dances, the man behind the woman, he will lead her around as they do this movement, and it's in a circle. I'm going to leave that circle off right now, circling, because we really didn't do it. It didn't make sense in our space. But here, I'm going to talk about this. Now, one of the things that we've done in the past is, for example, the steps. If you want to make the steps all small steps, you can put a bracket around. You can take. Whoops, this one isn't writing. This one. Okay. You can take a bunch of steps and you can either modify them this way so that they're all small steps. These are 3 middle level steps. Or in certain circumstances, you find that you don't have a lot of room. You may be doing them in a very short amount of space. So you use a bracket with an X in it, which equals basically, it's like the distributive process, property that equals this. It just distributes that X to all 3 of those things.
Yeah, Lee, you forgot
I know.
to erase the X and yeah.
Thank you. That is the equivalent of that. Same thing.
And all the steps are, when you put the X in the bracket, it means
Every one of those steps
is
has
small.
the X. Right. It's modified equally. It's all, every single one it applies to. Sometimes we have use of something called a bow like this, which could be a phrasing bow. You could lead by, let's just use an example where we have the arm. Here's the staff, and here's the arm column, and we're going to start here as we do over there, and we're going to lead the whole thing by the fingertips.
Remember what that, when we did lead by the, that's what that is.
So that's the kind of bow you'd use if you wanted to lead.
I mean, like, because it's two separate movements, but the first part, we say more likely guided by thumb side instead of the fingertips.
Yeah, because otherwise you do it.
Yes.
But maybe you want to be led by the fingertips. You've got
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Maybe
if
the
you want.
choreographer said
Oh, yeah.
the intention is to have those fingertips take you somewhere, even though it's really in effect, that you're guided, as Mira is saying, by the right hand side of the hand or right hand side of the arm. This is the symbology that you use that says you're led by the fingertips. So we've got a couple bows that exist right now that are used in certain ways to modify. But what happened when we were doing that spark of energy? That where it was recreated, it wasn't necessarily equally distributed as we did for the bracket. How do you want to represent that? If you tried using this, it's not so clear. If you tried using the bracket, that's equally distributed. Well, Charlotte has been contemplating this kind of concept for some time and has come up with a solution, has checked with Ann Hutchinson Guest, and she's introduced a new symbol called the thematic bracket. And it looks like this. For example, in the effort that we were doing, if you were talking about quickness, this is the symbol for quickness. It means in here that quickness is a theme. Let's talk a little bit more about the concept of a theme. It might be the predominant effort that's displayed in here, but not displayed on everything. It might be that it repeats over and over again. There may be flexibility in how it's used, but it may be the most important event related to this whole thing, that you're trying to emphasize that quickness. When you were being heavy, this is the symbol